Alright guys, time to grab it back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and today we're going to talk about Scraps and him saying that he's going to be streaming for this upcoming season, and still what is going on with Paris, because we've had some very interesting developments over the last couple of days, especially this that we're going to go in from Looty, effectively looking through what are the teams right now that are set up in the Challenger side, and some of the guys we thought were going to be on Paris are now seeming to be in the Challenger side. What does that mean for who Paris are going to get? Are they going to look into North American talent? I believe that is going to be the case. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you for doing that, really helps out the channel. And let's crack on with this then. So as Looty says, any American AM teams that have formed a Cold War almost completed, DM this so I can, well, track the seeds in this spreadsheet we're going to look at here in a second. So Waskin said like way back in early September that everyone was dropped off the London team, and I mean of course Waskin and Scraps not on that team at all, but Zero and Dylan did come back to join Shawnee, and now Alex on this team as well, and he's been saying a number of times, you know, when I go full time with this streaming stuff, it's going to be different, cannot wait, because he's done pretty decent things on the Warzone side so far this season, and you know, I got dropped and left with nothing, and he says as well, I'd rather take my chances on streaming after the year I just went through, right? And if he doesn't have an obvious opportunity on a professional team, and really Paris is the only option, then is streaming the possibility that he does indeed go for. We get this from Scraps yesterday, cannot wait for Cold War, grinding every day with the kids, stream will be in full swing, so I imagine he talks about, you know, he's talking about here really Waskin, grinding every day with the kids. What's the plan? Returning to Amcod full-time streaming, he reckons streaming bro. So of course, like the amateur scene, probably not something you necessarily want to do, because when it does expand to 16 teams, you would imagine that Scraps and Waskin get picked up without really too much of an issue if this season is a little bit sketchy. So you probably don't have to go into the Challengers Gauntlet. The problem with going down there as well is the fact that you might just get smoked, right? And that's the issue. I know these guys wouldn't get smoked, but like, you know, like is the motivation really there for players who have played at the top tier professional play to grind out the Challenger side all season long, when there's like guys in the absolute passion pit doing their best to win, right? So yeah, it's an interesting situation. The problem is we're going to the Challengers, as I said, is that all of a sudden you may get somewhat overshadowed by some of these new talents coming into the scene, because you know, it's difficult to maintain your motivation, I suppose, in that sense if you were a former pro player. So maybe it does make more sense to just stream for the year, build up your brand in that sense, and then not only be a valuable asset because you're a very good player to join a team next season, but also have more of a brand, more of a following on the Twitter side to help with sponsorship engagements and all that type of stuff that matters for pro teams. So this is the spreadsheet then from Looty, and we'll go through some very interesting teams. The first one is like the Singularity old guys, so Detain, Bids, Denzer, and Maple. I mean, not like the entire team, because Denzer was on Team War last season. Then you've got, well, this is actually quite interesting as well. You've got SCFC Joe, and you guys may know this, of course, as Joe CoD, a player for a long time in Call of Duty. Last season he was on the London Royal Ravens as kind of a coaching role. Now it seems like he's going to be playing again, which is pretty remarkable. In a similar way, as you can see, to B-Sport Josh, he was a coach on the Paris Legion. Now he's going to be back alongside Vortex, Dave, and Nasty. So yeah, kind of a shame the situation as it transpired with Nasty. The fact that he was going to be in London, you know, it didn't work out for him in that sense. But as you can see further down this list, you'll find that Afro is here as well. So Afro is definitely linked potentially to the Paris Legion. And two other big names linked to the Paris Legion, of course, were Whalers and Brezzy, as you can see right here. These guys look like they're going to be playing in the Challenger side as well, on a team of 3, alongside QuickTimer, and this profile links to Emigrant Chain. You guys might know Chain, of course, on the Singularity team last season that was so good in the early part of Modern Warfare, because before he ended up getting dropped and stuff like this. So really interesting to see, because in my perspective, I was thinking, okay, are they going to get the twins, Scraps and Waskin? Now Scraps is saying like, look, I'm just going to be streaming for the year with Waskin, that's just how it's going to be. We're just going to grind this year and try and get on a pro team next year, I suppose, and you know, play Warzone and have a good time on that side and try and build our brands even more in that sense. So okay, like I thought, I was thinking, I mean, maybe they're on the team, maybe they still are, right? But at the same time, I was like, okay, how do Paris keep this French representation? Whalers and Brezzy seems the obvious pickups for that team. But right now it seems like they're setting up for a Challengers run. They've got Chain here, like I think I've heard the 4th on the team is potentially going to be Urban. That's a name that you guys may know from way back in the day as well in Call of Duty. Dave Marsh, like he was, well, considered possibly the best player in the game at the start of Infinite Warfare with the OSA. Like he was one of the guys that first picked up like the OSA skinny bot meta with all the wall running that you could do back in the game and all the flying around the map that you could actually pull off, which is just incredible, obviously. But you guys might remember Urban. So it seems like potentially Brezzy and Whalers have a team lined up for this season, which probably means they're not going to be on the Paris Legion. A few other big names as well, I'm sure that you can see right here. So Quick, the new Byron Liddy, Moose Man, of course, and plenty of names here as well. Brad Hughes, that being Endura. I mean, Grad and Rafi, that was a duo that was way back in the day as well that I remember watching play with Chain back in Infinite Warfare. So yeah, this is what it's looking in the European side. But interesting to me that Whalers and Brezzy are, well, it doesn't seem like they're going to be on the Paris Legion, which means what the hell is going on with the Paris Legion? That is also another question. This as well, just to quickly mention from the North American Challenger side. So, yeah, maybe if I just zoom in just a tad, you can see Panda's team of Panda, Morks, Kismet, and GodRx. Number of other guys here with Spark, Prolute, and Davpity, as we looked at yesterday. Pentagram's team as well. Sibilance, I think, hasn't been fully confirmed as yet. I'll leave all the relevant links in the description box below if you guys want to check everything out. So the question really is, what is going on with Paris then? We thought it was going to be the twins, Scraps and Waskin. We thought potentially alongside some North American players or alongside the French guys of Whalers and Brezzy. It now seems like Whalers and Brezzy aren't there on the Paris Legion starting lineup, and the twins are saying they're going to be streaming. Maybe they're just BSing, maybe they are actually in discussions with the Paris Legion, but at the same time, if they are streaming, what does that mean for the Paris Legion? Do they have any European players even lined up? Because we saw also on that list further down in the European stuff that guys like Risk and these other French players that did good things in Black Ops 4, they seem to also just be running the Challenger side as well and not actually going to be on the starting lineup. And as we said, if there were French players that you probably want to pick up, Brezzy is the obvious one, and then I suppose Whalers as well. So does that mean they're going with all North American talent? It's very possible. It's kind of what this implies, but at the same time, is that a good decision? Especially when it came out a couple of days ago, they're only willing to pay minimum salary. They're not going to pay any more than $50,900 that they have to. Then again, if you're a pro player, like, you want the opportunity to still play in the pro league and get that situation, so maybe you can move up the rankings next season when some new teams come into play, hopefully for 2022. Slacked was one of the guys we discussed a few days ago. I'm so shocked how the offseason has gone. Still a free agent and looking like challengers, won all these back-to-back titles and all this kind of stuff. Kind of saying at the time that the rumor was at the time that Scraps and Waskin were being linked to the Paris Legion, and maybe Slacked had been in discussions and then was left out to dry. And I imagine that Slacked and Classic may be a duo that makes sense here. Maybe they even bring back a guy like Saints, I don't know, because I don't know where exactly he is right now. These guys have played together in the past and had good success on, let's just say, Luminosity Gaming, for example, back in Infinite Warfare. So a lot of pro players were coming to Slacked's defense here in support, especially Crimsix, right, who says, CDL teams, come on guys. Slacked is a prime example of a player who makes the people around him better, consistent for years, and in my humble opinion, severely underrated in terms of what he can bring to a team. So maybe the Paris Legion guys saw this and thought, okay, look, we're getting Slacked. Like, who do you want on the team Slacked? And we're going to, build around him, right? Which is a really incredible decision to me. But as it seems right now, with the twins in question, with Whalers and Brezzy not there, is Slacked the most likely option for this team? And also we looked at a guy like Afro, guys like Chain, they also it seemed to be in the Challenger side and not getting an opportunity straight into the starting team here. So does it mean that some of the North American guys are going to be competing for Paris? To me, that seems to be the most likely outcome, and it's probably not the best thing they could do in terms of brand image. But I'm of course intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. To mention this as well, Nvidia are doing a partnership with Activision. If you purchase a 380 or a 390 RTX graphics card, you'll get a copy of Black Ops Cold War on PC. But these graphics cards are crazy expensive, right? So, is it really worth it at the end of the day? Possibly, if you want an absolute monster PC setup, because this stuff is top of the line. Just to finish off the video with a few interesting things, Kenny has never finished outside the top 6 at Champs, including back-to-back finals appearances. Which Champs performance was Kenny's best so far? This is interesting, right? Because his best KD was actually the most recent tourney in Modern Warfare, and a lot of people would say that his best event was, his best game was World War II, but in his opinion, he actually thinks he was the best at Black Ops 4, with the Maddox in hand late on. I think, honestly, Kenny was somewhat underrated the latter part of that game. Like, early on, people were saying, okay, why isn't this guy using a SORG, especially after what happened in the World War II days? But, late on, Kenny was fantastic and was instrumental, of course, to their run in the losers bracket all the way to the top 2, as we looked at in the 3 minutes in COD history video yesterday. Similar thing here for Enable, of course, was teaming alongside Kenny in Black Ops 4 with this second place run the previous year as well in World War II, and his better KDs came a few years ago on FaZe Red, for example, on that incredible team with Slasher, Aches, and Parasite and Enable. I mean, like, that team would have absolutely ripped each other to shreds, but somehow knocked out Opta Gaming into top 8, or well, top 7 they ended up finishing, and then they end up coming 3rd in this tournament. So pretty remarkable stuff. And just to finish off with this one from Arcides as well, because he replied to this, he's never competed at COD Champs without his twin brother Pristini. Do you believe Alec manages to take his second ring in 2021? And as Alex says, spot the main. So spot the main assault rifle, that being the 1.36 KD he had at their first place at the 2019 World Championship. So now he's back to a main assault rifle for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on the FaZe Clan team. That is certainly a scary prospect indeed. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
Is he?
Yeah, you see him right there?
Little one of these. Oh shit. with one of these. Oh shit.